Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Sahid Aribisala. We begin from Ondo State, where Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa says the present administration will sustain efforts at promoting peaceful coexistence among various ethnic groups in the state. Governor Aiyedatiwa will realize inner diversity. The governor will thank the visitors for the show of love and support, promised there will be no discrimination against any ethnic group within the state. Governor's correspondent Wahab Ankoli completes their story.
Seated here at the Cocoa Conference Hall of the Governor's Office in Akure are ethnic groups from Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, Akwa Ibom, Ibira, and Igala communities. The people were on ground to meet minds with Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa while pledging their support and loyalty for his administration. Seriki of Hausa community, Babangida Kabir, and Special Advisor to the APC National Chairman on Political Mobilization, Hajiya Suraya Aminu.
Of all the Fulanis, Lucky.
Old Eastern Zone communities, High Chief Kingsley Chukuma urged government to welcome people from all tribes and provide a supportive environment.
Go back to South. Who is here in Ondo State?
The leader of Edo tribes, Mr. Joe Eruha, appealed to the governor to focus on reviving inactive companies in the state, while his Ibira community counterpart, Isa Onimisi, while stressing their reputation for farming, urged the governor to give more support to farmers in the state.
For the few periods that you have been on board, we want you to know that you are instrumental to the progress of this state. The seaport that has long been expected to be established in Ondo State has just creeping during the few periods you have come, which is an evidence that good things are coming along with you.
We can't be saying rice is expensive in the country, yet there is no single place in Ondo State where the rice is being produced in commercial quantity. The Igala community is ready to support your government if any program is floated on rice.
The Igala community spokesperson, Ali Monde, affirmed their support and allegiance to the present administration. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa thanked the groups for the visit and solidarity, while emphasizing that his administration will sustain efforts at promoting peaceful coexistence among various ethnic groups in the state.
We are all Nigerians and have the right to live anywhere. We want you to live well. Don't forget the primary function of any government is security, protection of your lives and properties, and your well-being, your welfare. We must ensure that because we must provide an enabling environment for you to thrive, to do your business, to go to wherever you want to go without fear, so that you can earn a living for yourself and live a good life. That is our mandate, and we will ensure that we provide that for all of you.
The governor said his administration will not relent in providing adequate security and enabling environment for businesses to thrive in the state.
It is not in our interest to displace you from your primary place or where you earn a living. If we are to say, okay, this is our forest, we want to turn it into maybe a bigger farm for bigger investment that will help develop the state and empower a lot of our people by giving them employment. We have to also discuss it.
Aiyedatiwa reassured the communities of his unwavering dedication to their interests for the overall development of the state. Wahab Bankoli, Osrc News.
The Ondo State government will soon roll out life improvement programs targeted at empowering youths of the states to make them globally competitive. The State Deputy Governor, Dr. Olaide Adelani, spoke while receiving members of the Youth Assembly in Akure, the state capital. Governor's correspondent, Limo Ebiemi, who witnessed the event, reports that the Deputy Governor also promised that the administration will continue to support youth initiative. The report is presented from our studios.
The Deputy Governor, Dr. Olajide Adelami, who said youth development is central to the progress and development of any nation, emphasized that the Lucky Aiyedatiwa administration is roundly committed to ensuring that youths across the 18 local government area of the state are gainfully engaged. Adelami was particular about skill acquisition for the youth to make them self-reliant. He noted that there are other vocational skills that the youth can acquire without breaking the banks, which he said could make them employers of labor.
It is when you are able to develop yourself effectively that you'll be able to develop a community. I want to believe that this body was sprung up from outshows of student union also. The one student, now most of you, I assume, young graduates trying to make more meaningful to yourself, your education. And I'm sure part of the challenges will be this employment. You know, how we get employed so that you can also develop yourself. It's an area that government, is interested in. It's part of the program of this government. My principal oftentimes discuss in this area this passion, how to change the narratives.
Dr. Adelami tasked the youth on networking and self-development. Adelami said the gap created by the unemployment syndrome would not have been so obvious if the youth had made it a priority to get the right skills in the area of information communication technology (ICT). He said it is of utmost importance for the youth to move with the latest technological advancement for sustainable development.
Surely everything you do today, it has the technology, the content, or you can drive it better. So, and that's why ICT is very basic to whatever you want to do. Even if you are a fashion designer, there are apps that you can use to enhance, whatever you are doing. If whatever vocation, ICT, is the bedrock.
President of Oyo Youth Assembly, Bashiru Adeola, congratulated the Deputy Governor on his appointment, said he is impressed with the deliberate programs and policies of the present administration to agenda the needed development in Ondo State.
Assembly and the youth body of Oyo General Assembly to congratulate you on your appointment as the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, and also to associate ourselves in the working of your office.
Said in view of the fact that the present administration has demonstrated maximum responsibility towards the young population, the youth will reciprocate with their support. The Deputy Governor, Dr. Olajide Adelami, who said youth development is central to the program
In Ondo State for April 25, 2024, according to Kennedy Perrottet, Publicity Secretary of the party, sale of expression of interest and nomination for. It said the National Working Committee also approved the resolution of the State Executive Committee of the party to zone the 2024 governorship ticket to Ondo South Senatorial District. Mr. Perrottet added that the leaders of the party have resolved to put the past behind them and work assiduously for the party's victory at the polls. To Ekiti State now, where the state government has set up a 10-man panel of inquiry to probe and address the recent incidents of patients' relatives' assault on doctors and other healthcare workers at Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti. The panel, co-chaired by Dr. Femi Thomas and Dr. Sukami Alabi, will also, among other things, investigate the perceived poor health worker attitude and suggest measures to improve quality of care delivered support staff members will also be initiated shortly to ensure optimal service delivery while creating a safer and more conducive working environment. There are strong indications that organized labor will push for 500,000 naira as minimum wage as the structure begins today. President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, had asserted that with the ongoing inflation, organized labor might push for a new minimum wage of up to 1 million naira for Nigerian workers. However, based on proposals submitted by state chapters to the Congress's headquarters, the organized labor might push for 500,000 naira at today's meeting. The public hearing on the new minimum wage, which will be held simultaneously in all 6 geopolitical zones, is expected to receive inputs from organized labor, state governors, ministers, civil society groups, and the organized private sector on a new minimum wage reflective of the current economic realities and the workers' aspirations. The NLC president will chair the meeting in the Northeast, taking place in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. The Police Service Commission has approved the promotion of 1,607 deputy A federal capital territory high court sitting in Maitama The Senate says it would meet with President Bola Tinubu over the insecurity in Benue State and Nigeria at large. The resolution of the Senate followed the report of a militia clash and including insecurity in Katsina-Ala local government areas of Benue State. A senator from Benue State, Emmanuel Udete, in his lead debate said over 50 residents of Katsina-Ala have been killed by men who disguised as elders to unleash havoc on the communities. He lamented that incessant attacks on the communities had gone unabated, with government doing virtually nothing. Still staying with security matters, dozens of displaced people are feared to have been abducted by Boko Haram jihadists in Borno. The victims were mostly women who lived in a camp in Gambo. Ministers of health from African countries with the highest burden of malaria committed have accelerated action to end death from the disease. has announced that the country's presidential election will take place on the 24th of this month. The announcement follows tensions in the country after President Macky Sall postponed the election last month, sparking widespread protest. The president, whose tenure ends on 2nd April, had insisted that he did not intend to run for a third term in office. His opponents had accused him of mounting a constitutional coup. Senegal has long been seen as one of the most stable democracies in Africa. Nikki Haley has ended a long-shot challenge to Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, ensuring the former president will be the party's candidate. United Nations bowed out a day after Super Tuesday. The rematch between Trump and Biden, the first repeat U.S. presidential contest since 1956, is one that few Americans want. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to approve a $467.5 billion spending package, the first step in averting a partial government shutdown. Funding for roughly 30% of the federal government, including agriculture, energy, housing, and veterans affairs, is due to expire at midnight tomorrow. The House-passed bill now goes to the U.S. Senate, where leaders have vowed to back the measure with time to spare. On Wednesday, House lawmakers voted 339 to 85 on the sprawling package of 6 funding bills, a compromise jointly agreed between House and Senate leaders after months of negotiation. Once it passes the Senate and is signed by President Joe Biden, the 1,050-page piece of legislation would extend the funding available for dozens of federal programs from Friday until 30th September. 3 crew members have been killed in Houthi missile strike, the first death since the group's attacks on merchant vessels began in November last year. Over now to Adirun Keklali for more.
Houthi fighters in Yemen held a funeral for 4 militants killed in recent US airstrikes, and Washington followed up by releasing Iranian-backed Houthi militants as a terrorist group, subjecting the group to harsh sanctions aimed at cutting off funding and weapons the Houthis have used to attack or hijack ships in vital Red Sea shipping lanes. Here is White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby.
We took this action because of their continued reckless and indiscriminate attacks on ships transiting the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. These attacks are a clear example of terrorism, violation of international law, and a major threat to innocent lives and to global commerce.
A Houthi official called US the nation blackmail and condemned what he called American and British aggression against Yemen. Attacks by the Iran-allied Houthi militants on ships in the region since November have slowed trade and alarmed major powers. The Houthi says they are acting in solidarity with Palestinians. The attack targeted a route that accounts for about 15% of the world's shipping traffic and act as a vital conduit between Europe and Asia. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the Iranian foreign minister said safety of navigation in the Red Sea was tied to the situation in Gaza. Kirby dismissed that claim.
No argument that this is about the war in Gaza. I mean, they're just driving the stake through a straw man. There's nothing there.
The involvement of an American military has further raised fear in a wider regional conflagration as Iran fired rockets into neighboring Iraq and Pakistan, which Tehran said were aimed at Israeli and other terrorist targets. Kirby said the US would act to defend its interests. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
Members of People's Protection Committees, which were formed by Gaza's rulers and other terror factions, say they want to control Gaza Strip from all sources of trouble. A group of 9 of the men, their headbands within People's Protection Committees, bound around ski masks or hoods, strode through a marketplace after first appearing around Rafah late last month. Aketude Akin Shemola has the details.
These men in black masks holding clubs walk in the streets of Rafah in an effort to restore a semblance of public order to the city in southern Gaza. Rafah is overwhelmed with Palestinians who have fled from an Israeli military invasion that has displaced almost the entire population of the Gaza Strip. The Hamas Islamist movement that has governed and policed Gaza for more than a decade has now gone underground to escape Israeli strikes. So it has fallen to these men wearing headbands that read People's Protection Committee to try and push back against lawlessness. And it's not clear what relationship they have to the Hamas movement. This man said the committee was set up jointly by the Hamas-run Gaza Interior Ministry and what they called Palestinian factions popular on the streets. He said he wanted to control the street to ensure there was still safety in the country. Spokespeople for Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and another major armed faction did not immediately respond to requests for comments. The patrolmen said they were primarily concerned with price gauging in the besieged enclave. The conflict has led to intense shortages of all goods in Gaza, with Israel allowing only humanitarian aid into the enclave trickling in at a far slower rate than food and medicine did before the conflict. Akintunde Akinshimola for Osrc News.
To developments in Thailand has revoked the visa of a Swiss man who faced growing